Right, guys, I've just pressed record, so we will be recording the webinar for any of you who have to rush off to sales inquiries and all that jazz. I'm going to get the show going, and I'm just going to start off by telling you all a bit about us. Crafted Africa, as I'm sure some of you may know, we used to be known as Malawian Style. Just for a bit of information about us as a company. I am the managing founder of Crafted Africa. My name is Mike. I set up Malawian Style back in 2010 when I followed my dreams back to Africa to become a beach bum against my parents' best wishes. Anyway, since then, fortunately, we've grown our company to a great little company. We've got some fantastic staff. We rebranded the business in 2010 as Crafted Africa just because Malawi was always a big part of what we did, but our Mozambique business was getting some good traction, and Zambia was becoming a much bigger part of what we do. At this stage of the game, Malawi is still 60% of our bed nights. Zambia is up to 32% of our bed nights. And Mozambique has doubled from 3% last year to 7% this year. And our general business is up 50% this year. So that just shows you how Mozambique really is going the right direction. It's very exciting to see so much demand for this wonderful part of the world. I got married here in 2022. We spent a lot of time here on average, 2 months a year. This year we are here for 3 weeks. We got two different groups of friends meeting us. This very much is a holiday, but we do come through a lot. And the combinations with Zambia, with Malawi, with parts of South Africa are working very well for us. For your information, we also set up a wine business in COVID. This was our COVID baby, our COVID success story. It was how we kept all our team employed. So we do have a sister business, which is a wine distribution arm of our business within Malawi, which has actually become 20% of our revenue. And this just allows us to be a stronger company, to have revenue all year round, and to make sure that we can, do everything we want with our team, our staff, our vision, and, obviously have a double revenue stream in the event that there was another Ebola or COVID or something like that. We have Plan B in place, which helps us as a business. So moving forward, I'm just going to get into sort of the presentation now. As we move forward, we've got Sally and Helen who are joining us. Sally and Helen are our UK representation company. They've been doing a fantastic job flying the Crafted Africa flag in the UK. And we also have Tapiwa and Razia, two of our senior, most experienced sales consultants joining us. Both Tapiwa and Razia have been with the company over 10 years. And they also traveled with Sally and Helen for 2 weeks in Mozambique in May, pre-Indaba. So the four of them had an amazing holiday while I was slaving away working in the office. Jokes aside, it was obviously fantastic for them to go to all these wonderful places that we've learned to love over time, have the experience, see the logistics, see what works, see where we maybe need to sort of fine tune some areas. And yeah, so obviously we've got Tapiwa and Razia with us joining the call today. Sorry, this question answer. I'm just going to put this away. If Sally and Helen, if you can maybe answer any of these questions that pop up while I'm talking, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to just sort of get the ball rolling, guys. So obviously we, as a DMC, we specialize in inbound travel to Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique. But today's focus really is all about Mozambique. So if any of you haven't or are not following us, please do give us a follow at Crafted Africa on Instagram. In terms of the airlines coming into Mozambique, I think this is really important. Obviously, the main hubs that you guys would probably be using would be Vilankulos, Maputo, Inhambane to a certain extent, and if coming from Malawi and Zambia, obviously Nampula. The main airlines going into Mozambique and to Maputo specifically are LAM, Airlink, Angola Airlines, Qatar, Ethiopian, Turkish, Kenya Airways, LATAM, United, and Air France. So there's a lot of airlines that do come in on, some more regular, some not direct, some via Joburg, but there are lots of routings into Maputo. When it comes to going to Vilankulos, you only have Airlink. When it comes to going into Inhambane, direct from Joburg, you have LAM. Direct is an interesting word because a lot of our clients that go direct get rerouted via Maputo. In fact, we had that rerouting via Maputo. And whilst it's not that convenient to have to go via Maputo, I have to say every part of that journey was swift, smooth. Our meet and greet in Maputo was world class. They were very friendly, very efficient. It was comfortable. The guys took us through and showed us where we need to check in, where we could get SIM cards. So yeah, I have to say, even though we did have to go via Maputo, it wasn't a huge deal. We got into Inhambane a couple of hours late. So I would definitely manage expectations when using LAM, as you could have possible reroutings. So going into the presentation, moving a bit forward, talking about our team here. So our team have grown substantially over the last year, pretty much doubled. And, we're really, really lucky to have the likes of Tapiwa and Razia, who've been with us 10 years, the veterans, along with Chifundu, who's our reservations manager, has also been with us 10 years. Ronald, our finance manager, has been with us 10 years. So we do have, some really fantastic senior leaders in the team, but we've certainly grown our sales team. There's another 3 sales consultants, another 2 res consultants. Fabiana's been with us a decent amount of time as well, about 7 years. He's our product and trade relations manager. So his role is really to help our trade design itineraries, put stuff together, plan fam trips, and really hold your hand to make sure you have everything you need. Obviously, the sales team focus purely on sales, and when things start to confirm, then the res team will take over, make sure all the flights and logistics and everything is in perfect place, chasing, reminding lodges 48 hours before, making sure the meet and greets are there and all that kind of information. So taking that pressure off our sales team. So I'm going to let Tapiwa and Razia just introduce themselves to you quickly, tell you a little bit about their trip through Mozambique. They are insanely busy in the office. They have told me they've only got 1 minute. So I think they want to jump on and just say hello and talk a little bit about their trip before I sort of carry on a little bit further. Go for it, Tapiwa.
Yes, yeah. I'm Razia Lamarck, a sales consultant for Crafted Africa, and you can start.
Hi, I'm Tapiwa with Crafted Africa. I was fortunate enough to go on a spam trip to Mozambique in May, and it was absolutely amazing. So when we make itineraries, we try to find letters for the country. So you would say maybe mesmerizing Mozambique, or memorable Mozambique, or magnetic, or I don't know, magical Mozambique. And having been there, I can say that it is absolutely, absolutely all these things and more. I mean, magical, magnetic. Mike is there going back and forth all the time. So yeah, we had an absolutely amazing time. The people, the culture, the food. One of the best thing about it was an activity that we did. So we did a sea safari. So you get to swim with the whale shark, and it really took me out of my box and showed me things that I would never have thought of doing before. Yeah, so I had an amazing time. And I think Razia can attest, Sally and Helen as well. The only thing I should mention is that being a freshwater girly, it was the salty water in the ocean was it was a shock to the system. So that's the only thing a disclaimer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Razia, go
Tapiwa.
ahead.
Thanks,
Oh, yeah.
Razia. Okay. Karen, Razia, sorry, you got something else there?
No, it's fine. I just
No, say it.
specified what
We want to hear it.
saying.
Tell us what you had in your
Yeah,
mind.
I'm just specifying what Tapia was saying. The food was delicious. The activities were great. I had a chance to go and snorkeling with the whale shark. That was really beautiful as well.
Cool. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, it was really nice to introduce Tapiwa and Razia to you. So obviously when those Mozambique inquiries come in, my knowledge as well as Tapiwa and Razia and Sally and Helen, there's 5 of us who have done that routing. And the plan is for some of the more junior sales consultants to do the similar routing next year, prior to Indaba. But I'll let you ladies run off. I know you got lots of inquiries coming in, so thanks for joining us. Just wanted you to sort of say hello to everybody. So yeah, I think just talking more about who we are as a company. Obviously our sales and reservations and ground handling. We do everything from our own vehicles in Malawi. Flights, booking flights, meet and greets, working with our partners, negotiating the best rates, itemized breakdowns. Our agent portal, which I'll touch a bit more on with the website, etc. But obviously all the sales and ground handling services. I'm not going to go into too much details about the experience and services. We obviously tailor make all of this. We've designed our own maps for you just so that you have a good idea of the logistics between obviously the key destinations that we work in. We're based in Lilongwe. Lilongwe is the capital of Malawi. Malawi is perfectly sandwiched in between our other 2 favorite countries, Mozambique to our east and Zambia to our west. So this just shows you all the fantastic routings connecting Lilongwe with Lusaka, Nairobi, Addis, Dar es Salaam, Joburg, Lusaka, Blantyre, Harare, you name it. The flight connections really are good between the various destinations that we work in. And I think it's worth remembering when choosing to combine Mozambique with one of our destinations. From Lilongwe, you have the Kenya Airways flight that actually comes from Nairobi. It's a direct flight into Lilongwe. From Lilongwe, it actually goes via Nampula and then back to Nairobi. So a lot of our clients, whether they're in Zambia, whether they're in Malawi, They love the combination of doing, the falls and doing your Zambia, doing your Malawi. I think it's worth mentioning that whilst Malawi and Zambia's wildlife are both fantastic, there are aspects of Malawi's wildlife, our cheetah, our black rhino, our huge herd of sable, our jackal, that are stronger than, what Zambia's wildlife is in that department. Whereas Zambia's stronger in the giraffe, the leopards. We've both got decent wild dogs and lions. So the combinations do work really well, and they do complement each other. And whether you're coming from Luangwa or Malawi onto Nampula, it is only an hour flight into Nampula. And from there, you can actually access this whole region here. The question will be asked, is this area safe? I personally think it's very safe. I took my family there last year for a week. We had the most amazing time. We had Nwara all to ourselves. And my sister and her family just, loved every minute of it. We personally would not go any further north than Nwara. This is Nwara here. We are not sending any clients past here. There are people going back to Pemba. There's amazing reviews about the region, but for us, that's just a little bit too close to that Cabo Delgado area. So flying into Nampula Airport, it's about a 2.5-hour drive to Ila, Mozambique. Because of the time of that Kenya Airways lands at 3:40 p.m., it gives you a couple of hours. We would always recommend overnighting in Ila, Mozambique. I'll talk more about that now. And then, going up to Nwara and spending some time in the beautiful beaches in that part of the world. Malawian Airlines is opening up the Nampula route. And if I'm going to believe everything I hear, the Malawian Airlines flight will be coming in earlier, which will give you more time to get up to Nwara on the same day, but we haven't got official times from that yet. So it's just worth remembering these connections you have here. Then as you go further south, as you're coming into Beira, Vilanculos, Inhambane, and Maputo, these flights all come in from Johannesburg. So if you wanted to connect from Malawi or Zambia to any of these parts of Mozambique, you're going to probably go and spend a night in Joburg and then connect to 1-hour flight into Vilanculos, 1 hour to Inhambane, unless you get rerouted via Maputo, which can happen. It's quite a scenic route, and it wasn't too bad. We actually quite enjoyed it. But just bear in mind that can happen, especially on your way out. If you have clients going back home, just make sure you build in a little bit of extra time in case you do have that delay. If you're flying LAM, you may have to, whether you're flying out of Maputo, out of Joburg, I would just build in that extra night just to give you that time in case you need it. So this map just shows you how everything sort of connects between the destinations. And going into more about Mozambique, this seems to have stretched a bit more than I'd hoped. But anyway, so this is a map of Mozambique. This shows you sort of all the different destinations within Mozambique. So obviously, I've already spoken about the flight connections into Pemba and Nacala. Down here, you have Beira, Gorongosa National Park. I did just add this map in earlier and I stretched it out. So don't worry, there is a much more clear map that I will show you. It's on our portal. So don't think that all the maps are this blurry. So this just shows you all the various different lodges in Bazaruto, Minguera Island, in the Vilanculos area, in the Inasora area, in the Gorongosa area. And then as you go further down to Tofu, and then obviously down through to Maputo. So in a nutshell, for people who enjoy their diving, you have in the Nwara area here, the diving is fantastic, but you're getting a lot of the small stuff. So you're not getting your big sharks, your turtles, your mantas, that kind of thing. This is more, if you want to go and have an amazing beach holiday, but you want to do a little bit of diving and, with the smaller stuff, whales coming into the bay, bay to yourself, breathtaking beauty, nobody else near you. Ila, Mozambique, I'll talk more about that now. It's more about the culture, the history, still lots of flavors of Portuguese from the Portuguese colony. The big stuff is down here, down south here. So when you come down here, you're getting your whales, you're getting your whale sharks. I've seen 2 whale sharks in the bay in Tofu in the last 2 days. We had one this morning, 500 meters out from where we're staying. We had one 2 days ago, a similar area. So the whale sharks in Tofu has to be one of the best places in the world to see whale sharks in their natural environment without the crowds. We've had whales jumping every day, splashes every 2 minutes, looking up there. It's been fantastic. Sorry, was someone asking a question there?
No, I was just going to ask you, is that year round? Is that something that you'll always find the whale sharks there, or the whales, or the diving? Is it seasonal?
So yes, so the whale sharks are all year round, but there was a period last year where they did disappear, and the theory was that the killer whales had made their way into the sort of into the Mozambique waters and it scared them off a little bit, and they'd sort of just disappeared for a bit. But they're definitely back. We were swimming with them a few days ago. We've had 2 separate ones in the bay. Humpback whales are seasonal, and typically in Tofu area they start arriving late May and they'll hang around till early November. So yeah, the whale sharks all year round, and the humpback whales are obviously seasonal. My lovely wife Lotta's going to come and say hello and tell you a little bit about her. She loves her diving. I've actually been struggling a little bit with my diving this week. The water's been very cold and I've been struggling with my breathing. So I've sort of haven't been diving as much as her, but she's going to pop in here and say hello and tell you about her magical day that she had yesterday.
Hope you're all doing fine. Yeah, the diving here is always amazing, and especially yesterday was really a good day. We saw 3 giant mantas on one dive, and then we were also surprised by a humpback. It happened quickly, so I didn't get that on camera, unfortunately, but it was right next to us and then just quickly moving, passing through. Today it's been a bit choppy, but also really cool sightings because the visibility is not that great. You can't see anything coming from far. So we were looking at this big school of fish and they were panicking. And then actually we saw why it was panicking. There was like a really big, I've got the name.
Really big blue marlin's the word she's looking
Yes,
for.
big blue marlin, huge one just popping up out of the blue. So that was really cool as well. Yeah, my hair's still wet from all the diving, so can't wait to go back.
I think what Lotta's also started is obviously the Crafted Africa brand is one that we've built together, we've developed together in recent times. And we've done a lot of diving, the Maldives. We love to go to Sally and Helen's new couple of, I guess, island that they're representing in the Maldives. We've been to Indonesia, we've been to Mauritius, we've been to Great Barrier Reef. We're going to Costa Rica in September. We're going to Raja Ampat. But one thing that we're constantly reminded of is that when you go anywhere that's not Mozambique, it's just busier. And we've also really struggled to plan our dive holidays and finding a good operator that can be really bespoke and help plan. So Lotta, with her love for the sea and love for diving, is actually starting a little brand called Crafted Diving. So she will be, be there to help out with anybody who does want sort of more sort of diving focused trips, whether it's our part of the world or, further afield.
Yes, happy to help.
Cool.
Looks like Helen is still in the Maldives, by the way.
That's Mozambique.
It's Mozambique.
Just shows, eh? That's up in Bazaruto.
Cool. So yeah, this map obviously.
Can I also just check, Mike? Sorry.
Yes.
Obviously, that's for the divers. I'm not an under the water person. I'm more of a snorkeler and above the water. But one of the things I've heard is that you can see fantastic whales and dolphins and so on from above, as opposed to you don't have to always be under the water and diving.
Yes, absolutely. So that's one of the beauties about tofu. And as I do sort of go further on to talking more about destinations, is tofu, where we are, we've obviously got a beautiful beach, nobody else around us. We're a 5-minute walk from the dive school. We're between 5 and a 20-minute walk from all the bars, restaurants, amazing variety of food. We've actually got a very special guest of honor who will be coming to talk a little bit more about that experience. But the ocean safaris is exactly what you're looking for. They'll take you, you'll go swimming with dolphins, swimming with whale sharks. You get very close up to the whales when they're jumping. So that in the tofu area, in terms of like getting to the closer, lots of small fish, you're not really going to have that as a snorkeler in the tofu area, but there are places where you can do that. Zengualemo on Bazaruto Islands, one of those places where there's an amazing house reef where you can, snorkel from the shore and, really be, in with the turtles and everything right from the shore. So that's obviously what we would do to sort of tailor make experiences depending on what you're looking for as an experience, or what's more important if you're a diver, if you're a snorkeler, if you're looking to test different restaurants, if you want to be in the same lodge with the same restaurant every night. These are kind of things that we would, help tailor make.
Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, obviously the map has we'll do a follow up with all the sort of the map that shows you the names of all these different lodges within Bazaruto and Inhambane and Maputo and all that. But I'm just going to go through the presentation a bit more. So yeah, I think you all probably know that Mozambique is known for its diving, beach, fishing. Whilst fishing is not a big thing for us because of the sustainability and all that. I must admit, I did go fishing with some of my friends this week. And it was a big thing. Lotta, my wife, was saying, the hooks, to this, to that. And I said to her, listen, we're only going fishing if we're using non-barbed hooks. And if it's completely sustainable, either we eat it or we put it back. And we had a great day out. We, between the 4 of us, we caught 2 great fish each. We had 4 wahoo. We had a sailfish, which we released. We had a barracuda, and we've been living off fresh seafood for the last 3 or 4 days. So yeah, the fishing is fantastic for those who may want to, challenge themselves to catch some fish and obviously sustainably put it back or, eat it. Wildlife, also Goza, the history, a lot of the history that I'll talk a bit more about, and the cuisine. So there's a lot that Mozambique does offer as a destination. So as I'm starting from the sort of northern part of Mozambique and working my way down, the first part we're going to talk about is Ilha Mozambique, which is really known as the Cuba of Africa. This is where the country Mozambique actually got its name from, not the other way around. So Mozambique was named after Ilha Mozambique, which is a short 2.5-hour drive from Nampula Airport, as I've already discussed. Kenya Airways flies into Nampula, as do other airlines such as LAM and Airlink as well, flying to Nampula. So it's a great place to access Ilha Mozambique for those who want culture, history, Portuguese taste, flavors. It's a really wonderful place to to soak up some culture and history. As you can see here, the lodges have a real sort of Moroccan design from back in the day. This is a lodge called Fiatoria. Fiatoria used to be where the Arab Trading Center was. So a lot of the rooms are named after the commodities that were traded, your salt, your pepper, your cumin, etc. In a really beautiful location in Ilha Mozambique, and you can do day trips from there, kayak around the island, bike cycling tours, walking tours, and just test the different wonderful cuisine in the area. Right next door, you have Villa Sands. Villa Sands is owned by Gisela. She's a local Mozambique lady. She's very connected with government. She's really outgoing and has built a beautiful lodge. These two are right next door to each other. They're slightly different. One of the main differences for me is that the rooms at Fiatoria are behind the pool, so you don't overlook the bay. But, it's still a great location once you go into the sort of area where you can see your sunset. Whereas at Villa Sands, the rooms are sort of the other side. So you from your room, you do have this view of the sunset looking out onto the bay. Just different, depending what people are after. So those two are both very well priced. I don't know if you can see the price here, but so you have a sort of rough price point around the $100 per person per night mark. Great place to overnight before you head out to the islands or further into Ilha Mozambique. So again, because Ilha Mozambique is kind of shaped in a weird way, this is Coral Lodge on Ilha Mozambique, but you can't get there the same day because you need to go by boat, which is tide dependent. So obviously after a day or two at Villa Sands or Fiatoria, you can head across to Coral Lodge if this is what you're looking for, or you can head further afield to Nuoro. So depending on what you decide to do until Malawian Airlines flies in and arrives slightly early, then obviously you can go wherever you want the day that you arrive. Nuoro is another 2 or 3 hours north, beautiful location, breathtaking, clean blue water. As you can see, the whales come right into the beach. So this is the beach right here, and these are the whales. We've got some really cool videos of us diving and snorkeling with whales, and my sister canoeing right next to a whale, and my wife the other side. So we had the whole bay to ourselves, nobody else there. Amazing food, amazing location, and this part of Mozambique does combine very well with Malawi and Zambia. Only a 1-hour flight from Lilongwe. So moving on to Gorongosa. So I'm just going to tell you a bit about Gorongosa. It was actually first established as a 1,000 square kilometer hunting reserve by the Mozambique company. The government declared Gorongosa a national park while adding 2,100 square kilometers to the park. It was actually a period was known as the vacation of the stars, when Gorongosa was a popular destination of celebrities such as John Wayne, Joan Crawford, Gregory Peck, James Lovell, Tippi Hedren, James Michener. And then there was the war between Frelimo and Renamo, which wiped out 90% of the population in the park, unfortunately. Greg Carr, who manages the Carr Foundation, saw the potential for Mozambique's flagship park to return to its former glory. As he wrote in the park guest book, this is a spectacular park, and it could become one of the best in Africa with some assistance. The Gorongosa Restoration Project teamed up with government of Mozambique under a memorandum of understanding to restore Gorongosa National Park to its former glory. A wildlife sanctuary was built in preparation for a large-scale wildlife restocking effort. 60 local scouts were hired to work in tourism and conservation, and they began guiding tourists up to the mountain to see the waterfall and rainforest and camp overnight on the peak. Wildlife relocations began initially with 54 buffalo. In 2006, a community school and health clinic were built to support the community. New bungalows were built to promote tourism. Further buffalo and wildebeest were introduced. Another aerial survey showed that wildlife numbers were on the rise. Lions naturally returned and were seen at the Lion House. The government of Mozambique and Gorongosa Restoration Project signed a 20-year agreement, and Gorongosa National Park jointly joined up. 6 elephants and 5 hippos were introduced. This marked the first year that 20% of revenue for Gorongosa's tourism fees were divided among the 15 communities. So all of the revenue from the park goes to the 15 communities surrounding the park. The National Geographic special Africa's Last Eden came out, which was about the restoration of Gorongosa, premiered around the world. Mount Gorongosa was incorporated into the park, increasing the size to 4,000 square kilometers. A further 3,500 square kilometer buffer zone was added around the park. An aerial survey of Gorongosa wildlife showed that the numbers of wildlife in the park have risen by 40% in the last 3 years. Wild dogs returned, leopard returned, hyena returned, and it really is on the rise. So very exciting what's happening in Gorongosa. I think for me, what's important and really touches home is I personally am not a huge fan of self-drivers. I really believe you should support the community, support local drivers, get that excellent experience. And I know that there's a couple of people who probably disagree with my views, but I love the fact that you can't self-drive in Gorongosa. I love the fact that you have to support the local guides, that you're not going to have disrespectful self-drivers littering and destroying the park. I love the fact that for Gorongosa Mountain, the coffee that is grown there, it goes towards women education and reforestation in Mozambique. So two really cool projects. And all the revenue from the park supports the communities around the park. There's a pangolin restoration project as well, which we fortunately got to spend some time with and just saw the work that they're doing to protect pangolins. So for me, it's a story. You're not going to go to Gorongosa and see a lion or a leopard around every corner, but you're going to be doing something good. You're going to be supporting a cool project. And I think you'll leave, feeling great about your experience. You fly into Beira Airport, which is about a 2-hour drive to Gorongosa, or of course, there's a short air transfer down into Gorongosa airstrip just by Chitenga camp. So while I'm here, I'm just going to show you some information on the website about where you can access more information about lodges, destinations, itineraries. So let me just go and show you on our website where you can find everything you may need. So I know all the countries that we specialize in. If you're looking for information on Mozambique, firstly, you have got a client on the phone asking you about a destination, maybe Ilha Mozambique. You just go to destination information, click on Ilha Mozambique, and this will give you all the information that you may need. So it just brings up information here about the Old East Portuguese Africa, that it's a World Heritage Site. So there's a lot of information here that you can access for all the various destinations within Mozambique. I'm not going to go through all of them. And again, if you're looking for information on various lodges, partners we work with, we've tried and tested them all ourselves. We know the differences. We know, obviously, we can help with that information and put it all together. But for your information, you're in a different time zone. Our office is closed. You've got a client wanting an answer now. Under accommodation, these are all sorted into the various different destinations within Mozambique that we specialize in. So again, for instance, you want to know what the lodges are in Ilha Mozambique, you just click on that, and this will bring up all the lodges that we work with in Mozambique. And once this brings them all up, I can show you. So then you have here, it shows you Viatoria, Coral Lodge, Villa Sands. As you scroll down, it's got Nuaro. And you want more information about these lodges, then you just click on the lodge page, and it will give you, or more information about Coral Lodge, how many rooms there are, if there's aircon, if there's a swimming pool, a link to TripAdvisor telling you what people are saying. And then you have all the sort of quick facts information here, why we love it, key features, when to visit. It tells you the open and closed dates, different seasons. So you have all this kind of information. It's similar for, I'm going to go touch on Gorongosa as well, just to talk a bit more about the lodgings in Gorongosa. So again, you click on Gorongosa National Park.
Sorry, we've just had a question asking about the safety in Gorongosa, so I thought I would just ask you that before we go into the accommodation.
Yeah, so Gorongosa is very far south of the danger zone. Well, they say the danger zone in Mozambique. There haven't been any incidents in a while. There's been a big drive in Mozambique with the government, the local police, to actually put a clamp down on it. And what's actually happening back in the day is these guys, who work in the danger zone were going to get young Mozambicans to fight in the war. They'd drive down south. They would go and tell a family, hey, your son's going to make loads of money. We take him with him. He would get there and you'd be told he had to fight. So what they've done is they have roadblocks everywhere, all the way south from Pemba, all the way down to the bottom of Mozambique. Every time a vehicle comes through, if there's more than a certain amount of people on the vehicle, they ask the driver, they question, they want to know who the people are, where they're going, why they're going. So they essentially are cutting it off at the source, which means that they aren't able to move these Mozambicans to become soldiers. And that is a big reason of why the Mozambican war the danger zone it's been getting better and better over time. Having said that, Gorongosa is very far south of what you may classify as the danger zone. So as far as we're concerned, very, very safe area, no issues, and a safe place to visit, especially as you flying into Beira, and it's only an hour and a half from there into the national park. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you.
So the main camps you have in Gorongosa, so you have, let's just start with Chitengo. Chitengo is the main, I guess it's like the camp at the park gate. It's big, it's self-catering. There's a lot of accommodation there. It's not high end. It's typically where your self-drivers would stay, and it's not really where we would put our clients. But of course, if you're arriving fairly late and you don't want to spend the first night spending $300 per person per night, maybe you'll spend your first night there, comfortable bed, and then move into something more upmarket in the park the next day. You have Wild Camp, which is my personal favorite. I love a bush camp. It's a great location. It's small, good guiding, good vehicles, and a really nice sort of wild, authentic location. Then you have Mizuma, which is the luxury camp in the park. They're both fairly small, I think 6 rooms each. And then what they've now built is a fly camp in the Gorongosa Mountains. So what you can typically do, and I think is quite a nice way to do it, is instead of driving all the way to Gorongosa Mountain on a day trip and coming all the way back, go and spend a couple of days at the fly camp, do a couple of days at wild camp. Maybe you want to spend some time at the luxury camp. We've got a big group from the US coming next year. They've actually block booked both wild camp and Mizumu for the whole period. And they're actually flying directly to Bazaruto Island from there. So there is access to do these kind of things. So these are the various lodges that you are going to experience in Gorongosa. So on the website as well, we have more information on itineraries. So if you're looking for example itineraries, Malawi only, Zambia only, Mozambique only, Malawi and Zambia, Malawi and Mozambique. There's a lot of different example itineraries here. Obviously, these are just examples to give you ideas of what's possible, but there's a lot of information here. So for example, let's look at let's go for a Mozambique only, something like this diving yoga adventure. So these just give you example ideas of what is possible or sort of rough price points. But of course, our sales team and our product development team are here to help you, design itineraries, whether it's for a client you actually have a request or it's for something you want to put on your website. We can help you with various different combinations and packages. So this just shows you an example itinerary, Peri Peri Dive Camp in Morangulo, Travesia, both, beautiful, great value options. Kumba Lodge, just down the beach from where we are now in Tofu. Masinga Beach Lodge, also in the Morangulo area. So, I mean, here's an example of a really great trip. I think it's the price seems to have disappeared, but that's actually about $2,500 for a 15-night trip. So, really great value for money. But obviously, there's lots of different example ideas here with combinations, but we can help with that information. So that's pretty much it from the website. The agent portal is where you register for basically your name, email address, you set your own password, and you will get access to our agent portal. So the agent portal provides a lot more information on what you may need on any given day. I always say use the agent portal as much as you want or as little as you want. Our team of experts know everything inside out. They know all the various specials. They know the lodges. They've been them. They've visited them. They can literally help you. They will go into the live availability, see who has space, see what special it is, if it's a last minute special, if it's a seasonal special, if it's a pay 2, stay 3. They're always going to help you tailor make the best, the best itinerary. But if you want to sort of get to know this portal better, you have all the specials for all 3 countries here. So you can have a look at that, how we do our itemized quote templates, itinerary cross breakdowns, price books with all your net pricing per property, per season, specials, flight schedules for Mozambique and Zambia. Malawi is based on a seat rate, so there's no actual schedule. But here you can see what planes go on what days, what time of the year, etc. A lot of information there. Pre-departure information for all 3 countries. Presentations like the one I'm showing you now, you have for Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique can all be downloaded. Seasonal information, who's open, who's closed, who's shoulder season. Live availability. So this is typically how our team would start any form of inquiry. They would come straight here and check. Please just ignore Botswana and Madagascar and stuff for now. We do have some partners who have asked us to do a bit more than our core regions, which is obviously the reason we've added some of these on here as extensions. Typically Malawi, northern Mozambique, southern Mozambique. If you're interested, you want to check, is there availability at Santorini or Sava Dunes or say Travesia or Machingulo, Anvil Bay. You just want to check all the, obviously we've got some extensions to the Cape region too. A lot of our clients go via Cape Town, and then all these different Zambia lodges here as well. So it's very easy just to go down and tick what you are looking for, to check your availability. And our team would typically do this. The first thing they would do is come on here, type in the date, plug it in, and check availability first before they start working on an inquiry. Once they know where there's space, what rooms are available, here you can see which lodges have space, where they might be fully booked. Actually, Santorini is pretty busy, and even tells you what rooms, so you can play around with the dates and stuff. Then they would put a proposal together and obviously send this across to you. But obviously as well, if you, for instance, you work really well with Time and Tide or Bush Camp Company or Chiawa, and you really want to support those guys, you can pretty much come in here and check this availability and then come to us and ask us to, give you a quote and provisionally hold, etc. So really useful information there on the live availability front. And galleries for you to download any of the photos that you may need for marketing, for newsletters, etc. Here you have, the countries we specialize in: Zambia, Mozambique, Malawi, videos, photos, really easy to download. So for instance, you want some Mozambique photos, you have all the lodges arranged who we work with. So if you want to get any of their photos, you can get those. Or if you want some of our marine photos, you can just click on this and it's very easy to download. You literally just click on the album, it'll load all the photos, and it's tablet friendly, it's mobile friendly, it's obviously your laptop, and you can just scroll down until you find the photos you're looking for. And then you literally just press download. Say you want this whale jumping, you press download, and this will download straight away onto your laptop. There it is there. You know, you can obviously use it for however you may want to use it. So that's the image section. And then you have a bit more information on here as well, on other things and how we operate. Educational trips, if you're interested in joining, when they're going, if they're spaced, all the destination maps. For Zambia, we have a map for each national park, and then obviously we have one for Mozambique and Malawi. Sustainability, we've got these beautiful new water bottles that are actually recycled ocean plastic. This is ocean plastic recycled from the ocean, and yeah, we give these to all our clients in all 3 destinations to try and prevent plastic use. Tells you about our solar power at the house, office, all that. Distance charts and liability insurance as well. We've got a very high level of that for all 3 countries. We've got a $5 million per incident insurance. So yeah, we've pretty covered on that. So all that information is there in the portal. It's very easy to register for. So I just need to move this out of the way. And going back onto the presentation. So yeah, as we go down through southern Mozambique, we're going to sort of start in the Inasoro area. Inasoro is the first sort of beach town you're going to have south of Gorongosa. You know, this sort of really beautiful area here. It's very wild and authentic. Inasoro is where you have the Susuru. I'll sort of, you know, I'll get onto these properties now. Rio Azul is the first place. This is actually a sandbank that's about a half-an-hour boat ride away from the lodge. As you can see, there's nobody else there. You have the whole sandbank to yourself. They'll go and set you up nicely, have lunch out there, go swimming and snorkeling. And, you know, if there's whale season, see the whales jumping, a really great property. It also shows you sort of a rough price point here, so you have a rough idea what these lodges cost. Magical underwater life in the area. And Susuru, you know, again, shows you this beautiful location here and a rough sort of price point here as well. Going down a little bit further south to the Vilankula area, starting the cheapest with Bahia Mar. Then you have Asdunas, another great property in Vilankulas area. I think it's worth remembering about Vilankulas that if you're in your room watching from it looks like a postcard, it's breathtakingly beautiful, but it's very shallow. So you're not going to get the whales and dolphins and that kind of activities coming close into shore like you will further south. And swimming in the sea in Vilankulas also, it's very, very shallow and very tidal. So, you know, you have to walk a hell of a long way to actually swim in the sea. So it's worth remembering that if you do want to be swimming and snorkeling every day and doing activities, you know, you may want to think the islands, or you may want to think, you know, Tofu, Morangulo further south. But if you're all about the views and you just want to do day trips to the islands and somewhere like Asdunas, incredible value, all your meals, your wining, your dining, your massages, all that's included for that price point. It's just worth remembering the differences. Santorini is another wonderful property in the Vilankulas area as well. And then as you head out to the islands and beyond, obviously, it's a bit more pricey. But I do think it's worth remembering that even though Ambion is more priced than other products, they do include everything. And that includes your diving, your activities, everything's included. You don't suddenly get charged for every activity, you know, once you do them. Obviously, Azura, a great product, but cheaper. Here you don't have your activities included. So it's worth remembering that. Another great product on Benguera Island. Sawa, we were there in December. We went to all these places in December. Beautiful, amazing, very high end, but we were very impressed. You know, the food, the service, the butler, the house reef was really spectacular. Great snorkeling right from the beach. You know, the spaciousness is worth remembering as well, that these villas are huge and beautiful, but they are very far apart. So if your clients want to be mingling and meeting more people, you know, maybe this is not, you know, quite the right vibe. But if your clients just want privacy and don't want to see anybody else, it's obviously a great option. Zengulemo, this is one of our favorites. Great value for money. As you can see here, there's a real drop off. There's a beautiful house reef here. You get turtles. It's actually a turtle hatchery area here. So as you're coming into the lodge, you're going to see, I'm not even going to say you may be going to see, you're going to see plenty of turtles as you come in here. You can go snorkeling off the beach here. Beautiful house reef, a lot of turtle in the area. Accommodation's nice, comfortable, fairly basic. Food's very good. So it's a great value option on the islands. And that's one of the places I would recommend that if you want to go snorkeling from the beach and you're not a diver, this is a fantastic option to consider.
And Mike, would you just before you carry on, would you just talk about the activities you can do from all of those lodges in the area? So going out to 2 Mile Reef and the Big Dune and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, you know, going to Azura and, you know, and beyond and those lodges, of course, you've got your swimming on the beach. You've got an island tour. They'll take you and show you drive around the island, the community, learn about what African parks are doing. You can book diving trips, which goes out to the various. You can book ocean safaris, which if you just want to go and watch the whales or go on a snorkeling trip, you can do those kind of activities. So there's a huge amount of sort of, I guess, paid for activities, and then you've also got your kayaking and supporting from from the beach. They'll do their private dinners where they take you to an exclusive beach somewhere and have a little private dinner. And so there's a lot of cool activities that you can do at the various lodges. We've actually added on our website for all of the sort of water lodges we work with. You have a price list for all of the excluded activities, so you can know what a massage costs, what a dive costs. All that has been added to the website to find those downloadable documents as and when your clients ask for this kind of information.
Thank you.
So if you're going to drive from Vilanculos down to the Tofu area, it is about a 5-hour drive. So we love the idea of breaking that up in the Morangula area, which is about halfway between Vilanculos and Tofu. Places like Trevesia, a really nice place to stop off and break the 2-hour journey up. It's a beautiful location, no lodges anywhere near. There's obviously huge palm trees, loads of palm tree forest there. Beautiful pool, eco-friendly, solar power. It's a great option to break up the journey, especially if you're flying into one airport and flying out the other. We quite like the idea of, flying into Tofu and flying out of Vilanculos or vice versa, instead of, having to drive all the way south and all the way back. Then you've also got, as you get into the Tofu area, this is when I'm actually going to bring up a guest of honor. It's a face that you all know very well. Botswana celebrity, who we've had the pleasure of having with us for a week in Mozambique, and she's just going to say hello and talk to you a little about her experience with us in Mozambique. Welcome to the podium, Fran Hurd.
Hi guys, it's so good to be back on a webinar. It's been a while since I've been online. I've been having an incredible week here with Mike and Lotta and the gang. I really love Tofu. It's an incredible location. Where we are is just a few minutes walk from the town itself. So we're either popping out for lunch or dinner most days. The food's incredible. We've had, as Mike said earlier, the guys went out fishing. So we've had fresh seafood most days and back here at the house. And then also when we've headed into town, we've had some great sushi. Last night we were at a local restaurant with live music, which was really brilliant. I'm not into diving. I'm quite a timid swimmer, but I have really loved being here because the beach is right in front of our house and the sea is really warm and calm. So I have been swimming every day. And when Lotta's been heading out on her dives, I've definitely been able to get in the sea as well. And the logistics have been super smooth. So everything from being picked up at the airport to dinner reservations to getting massages organized, every little detail has been taken care of. And I know what it takes. I've worked behind the scenes on putting trips together. So I know that a lot goes into it, and the team at Crafted Africa really are on the ball, and they've got some great contacts here, and they've been able to make great recommendations to me as where to go for the best meals, where you can get the best sundowner with the best view. So we went out to a place called Sundowner Lodge, which is really high up, and you get almost a 360 view at sunset. So that was really, really awesome. So yeah, I've had a great time in Tofu. It's my second time in this area and I'll definitely be back. But great to see you all and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thanks, Fran. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having Fran with us for the week. We've always been good friends in the industry, so it's kind of funny. It's normally her doing Botswana and myself doing Malawi, so I thought, hey, you better just pop in and say hello to everyone. So starting off on the sort of more budget stuff, Kumba Lodge is actually slightly out of town, and it's definitely for your more budget traveler who, there's a yoga deck there. They focus on yoga, vegan food, away from the crowds. And I think it's worth remembering that the Tofu Bay, as you go further and further south, I guess, to the southern point of the bay, it has got busier. There's no doubt. Since I started first coming to Tofu, that part of the bay, I mean, it's great to go there for a sundowner and watch the sunset and, have a beer and stuff there. But we really have loved that we haven't been staying there, that we are sort of a 20-minute walk down the beach from there. even though we are 20 minutes away from the busier side of things, it's nice to, you eat so much and, every night after dinner, we're like, sheepers, we need to walk this off. So it's actually quite nice just to walk and watch the moon and the waves as you walk back to your accommodation. And having said that, we're only 5 minutes from the dive school. The dive school has an amazing restaurant. So if we want to walk down and have lunch, we can. We've cooked some fresh seafood and stuff here. So the house we're in, even though it's not typical for the international market to have a self-catering house, Tofu doesn't have that many options. You've got Sava Dunes, which is really wonderful, but it is more like 4 kilometers out of town. So it is a bit of a, it's certainly off the beaten track and a bit of a mission to get back into town for diving and stuff. So a compromise of a really wonderful house next door. You can get breakfast, diving, ocean safaris, test all the different local cuisines. There's great taxi services that we work with to take you where you want to be. It's not the worst, especially for a family that maybe want to do something sort of budget friendly. So yeah, it's been a great experience for us. And I do think there is a place for that for clients who want to save a bit of money in Tofu and maybe splurge a bit more in your, when you go to the islands and, further up the map in Mozambique. So this is the house we're staying at. It's a place called Spinosa. Beautiful location, own pool, right on the beach. The house we have has 3 rooms, but there are 2 cottages next door as well. So if you do have a slightly bigger group, you can take those 2 as well. We've actually had 4 couples and a young family. So there's been 10 of us together and it's been perfect. We've loved waking up, watching the sunrise, cooking a few meals together, going out for meals, with young kids as well. The young kids would come back slightly earlier. We would hang out for a few more beers, whatever, but it's been fantastic. Sava Dunes, as mentioned, is the only really high-end fully board option in the area, but it is a little bit out of, it is a 4-kilometer walk down the beach, or you need a taxi in and out every day to, if you're doing diving and stuff like that. And Bayasinabula, so Bayasinabula is way on the southern side. It's a really beautiful lodge. However, that area definitely is getting busier for sure. So different strokes for different folks. If you want to be in the busy area, younger crowd, want to go to the bars and restaurants every night, perfect. If you want to sort of be a bit out of town and have your own private beach without sharing the beach with the rest of Tofu, then, Spinosa and, Sava Dunes are your vibe. So as you head down from Tofu South, you go through Maputo. We're actually going through Maputo on Friday. We got a night in Maputo. There's a couple of different options. We stay there, the Palana, Palmeiras, a couple of guest houses there. And then we're actually going, we stayed at Machingulo Beach Lodge last year. Really great option, good value for money. What I loved about it is the staff just seemed so happy and smiley and friendly. And it's just, I loved all the different sunset decks and the design and, great value for money. This year, we're actually going to Colina Verde. I say we're going there with our snobby mates. My wife can be known as a snob in the best of days. She fits right in with the pure market and the Spanish and the French. She speaks Spanish, she speaks French, she speaks Dutch, and she definitely likes a nicer glass of wine. So whilst we've come from having the self-catering option here, which we've absolutely loved, we're also really looking forward to going to Colina Verde, which is fully catered. It's a 7-bed house in a beautiful location. That's actually a bar there, so you can actually, swim up to the bar and grab a beer. You get beautiful sunset from here. You can watch the whales, and the food and service, for me was fantastic. And I think one thing that I guess a bit like Machingulo, the managing couple at Colina Verde, I will go as far as to say one of the best managing couples that I've ever had the privilege of being looked after by. They were just such lovely, kind people, caring, all the food was amazing. So yeah, we're really excited to go there on Saturday for a week with some of our other friends from, from all over Africa who all came from Malawi. So that's kind of where we're going to be finishing off. And then, as you go further south from there, you got Anvil Bay, minimalistic, beautiful location. The rooms are beautiful, but as you can see, there's not a lot of sort of public areas. So it's quite limiting on the sort of, the public area for lunches and dinners is very sort of basic and minimalistic, but beautiful location. And the back of it, you got the dam where you can go on a sundowner, the dark cruise. They've got some hippos and stuff there, so it's quite beautiful. And sometimes you get the elephants coming through to the beach, and then White Pearl, slightly further south. This is another sort of on the higher end level of accommodations as you get to the sort of most southern part of Mozambique. That almost brings us to the end of the presentation. Sorry, I haven't got a chance to actually go over everyone's questions, but I'm just going to show you a quick movie that I put together just to sort of show you what why Mozambique is such a wonderful destination, and for you to I'll try and answer questions while I play it to you. This is actually my wife here. This is the whale came up while they were kayaking in Nuara. Well, that's about it, guys. I don't know if anybody's got any questions, or I see there's a few questions coming through. Yes, absolutely. All the lodges do cater for older people. We'd obviously tailor make that according to the kind of accommodations that you're looking for. Someone like my mother probably wouldn't want to be where we are because she doesn't like walking too far. So we'd always cater for people according to what sort of places would be right fit for them. Yes, you absolutely may have a copy of the presentation. They're all in our agent portal. So if you register for the portal, then you will be able to download these very easily. So repeating where the best area for diving is, that really depends. As I say, Nuara and sort of northern Mozambique, that area is definitely about the small stuff, certainly at the moment until we feel that Pemba is safe to go to. So if you want the bigger things like what Lotta had yesterday, manta rays, whales on dive, whale sharks in the area, tofu is hands down, I think, up there, as is the islands, from Vilanculos to Bazaruto, Benguera, those islands, you get amazing diving as well. So I would say a combination of the likes of the islands with tofu for your dive lovers. And the season for diving, I would just avoid your January, February, March. The rains come in. It's not a great time of year. Obviously it also depends on if you want to be around for the whales. Whale season is from July through to October. But the visibility in sort of April, May is really, really good, as is November, December. You're just not going to have the whales around, but you will obviously have the whale sharks and dolphins and all that as well. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions. Obviously, we have recorded this. We will be putting this onto the portal. And then over the coming months, I will be doing a Malawi only and a Zambia only presentation. So watch this space for sort of future presentations. And by all means, drop us an email and ask if you have any questions or need anything. Whilst I am still out the office until early August, our team of experts are in the office and certainly can assist you with any questions and product development, et cetera, that you may need in the meantime.
I think that's it, Mike.
Sally Helen, do you have
Thanks,
anything else, any questions you wanted to ask or anything else I maybe forgot? I know that I can talk a little bit fast. I know sometimes.
No, I think you've covered it all. Well done. I
Yeah.
just wanted to add, I absolutely fell in love with Mozambique. It blew me away as how safe, the food was just exceptional. I felt I was an explorer. It was pristine. It was deserted. Fell in love.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why we spend so much time here. We already started planning our trip for next year, to come back in the same place, same crowd. I just think that, Mozambique offers so much in terms of wildness, authenticity, value for money, fresh seafood, diving, whales, whale sharks, and even just walking through tofu. Last night, we went to a place called Tofu Tofu. We had amazing seafood, so affordable. There's a local live band there. The night before that, we went to the Japanese restaurant. Tonight, we're going to go to the Spanish restaurant. You've got the Green Turtle just around the corner, which was supposed to be the best restaurant in Mozambique. It's rated. It's a French restaurant. So there's just so many of these kind of places around here. So, given that, do you really want to be in the same lodge for, the same meal and the same cook every night when you've got so many other great options around here? So I do think that Tofu maybe is a place that you want to look at it from a different angle and stay somewhere that is self-catering, beautiful, comfortable, good location where you can have these amazing experiences, on a daily basis.
Thank you. Can't wait to get back.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks everyone for joining. I know there's a really busy world out there and inquiries are flying in. So I do appreciate so many of you making the time to join our webinar this afternoon. And you have to let me go now. I think it's almost beer o'clock and I need to go watch another sunset. So I'm going to end things right there.
Very, very good. Thank you, Mike.
Fran's coming. Fran
Thank
and Mike
you.
are going to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers all. Thank you.